I want you to put some rumors to rest. I have heard people say that you are paid by the books to give out losers.
Welcome back to the Disciplined Degens podcast. I'm your host, Matty Betts. I'm here with the biggest degen I know, Gino Bet Openly. Actually, now that I think about it, we might have a bigger degen coming on the show today. We got Book It with Trent, the one and only, coming on the show here in a little bit. So stay tuned if you're tuning in. And also another big announcement, we are finally on YouTube at Disciplined Degens. We now have YouTube, Apple, and Spotify. So many of you guys have asked for us to put this on YouTube to watch the whole long form episode. Well, this will be our first episode tonight. If you're watching this right now on YouTube, make sure to like and subscribe. This is a brand new channel.
Appreciate that.
Yes, sir. I want to get into the first, before we even dive into it, we have a major shout out to one of our Disciplined Degens members, Christopher.
Homie is on fire.
Dude, we're going to just turn over the group to him at this point. We're not even going to give out any more picks.
He's embarrassing us, and we're on fire.
Yeah, 22-16 in the last week. Up big right now. Shout out to Christopher. And I got to give a shout out to Gino and the Disciplined Degens Algo in the NFL playoffs so far. 14-4 record. Make sure to check us out, disciplineddegens.com. If you want to become a member, it's literally just $1 a day.
And being real, we were cold for 3 weeks before this last run.
Ice cold.
So I love turning it around because we are real. We're not fake. We post all our plays. We list our winners and our losers, and all our records are there. And the reality is, I'll say this, a loss is a loss is a loss. We had closing line value on like 75% of those losses for like a 3-week span, and it felt like it would never end. Yeah. So for everyone that stuck with us, you're getting paid back dividends now.
100%. We had 3 straight winning months. December was a bad month, and now January turning the ship around. So disciplineddegens.com if you guys want to sign up. So let's jump into it. A really crazy week of playoff football. I mean, my Eagles had the bye, so they didn't play. Your Niners looked very impressive. The Dallas Cowboys looked very impressive. We were all over them this past week. The Algo was on them. I had a 2-unit play on them. What are your thoughts right now about this Dallas Cowboys team? Like, are they for real, or is Tampa just that bad?
So I want to try and level with everyone. I'm obviously wearing my grandpa's coat. This is the OG. Look at this hat too.
Oh man.
OG hat from the 80s. If I had to say something, if I just compared apples to apples, the Niners waxed that same Tampa Bay team a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Dallas equally waxed them. That puts us at a pretty level playing field. Dallas did it in Tampa. We did it at home. So some people can give the nod to Dallas. Honestly, the Tampa Bay I saw, I think Seattle would beat. So again, I put us in like the same boat. The only thing that scares me is our bad game against the Raiders carried over into the first half of that Seattle game.
Yeah.
I'm glad we turned it around. I just think this is going to be a game. We're going to give plays, we'll give leans, we'll give picks. I think this is going to be a game. I do think the line is off. I'll get into all of that, but reaction-wise, I think Dallas handled business. You only can beat who's in front of you. Niners handled business. I'm not that impressed with Buffalo.
Yeah.
Not that impressed with Cincinnati. So, I don't know. A bunch of ways to look at this week. We'll get into all that, but that's my initial.
So so after the Tampa Bay team loses at home, shut out in the first half, they got some garbage points late. What are you doing right now if you're Tom Brady? Are you retiring? Are you staying in Tampa? Or are you looking to go to a new team? Or what do you think he will do?
If I'm Tom Brady, I'm doing one of three things. I'm single now. I got a big bankroll. I got baddies nipping at my heels. And I got some payback. I'm staying in the state of Florida. I'm going over to Miami. I'm living in my palace. And I am dating Instagram models and influencers until I'm sick of it. And I'm pumped.
It's got to be attractive to Tom to stay in the same state, no income tax, have Tyreek Hill as his number one weapon. I agree with you. I think he goes there or Las Vegas. So we will see how that plays out.
The other two things I do, I don't buy into the Las Vegas. If you know that Tom is a strategic quarterback, he's a businessman. He coincidentally keeps winning at places with good defenses.
Yeah.
I think the two best places for him, Tennessee. I don't know if that will happen. I'm just telling you.
I can't see it.
He would be nasty in Nashville. And secondly, I don't know if he holds grudges toward the Patriots.
Yeah.
But New York Jets, they're ready for him. They paid a lot. I know everyone thinks they're going after Lamar. I think they would bankrupt their team to go get Lamar.
Yeah.
Is that worth it? Maybe. If you get Tom cheap, I think that's a better pickup. But those are my three. I know both of those are lower. The Niners are higher on the list.
Yeah, I'll read off these odds right now. So Tom Brady's betting odds. The Bucks 2-1 as the favorite for him to stay put.
So it doesn't move.
The Raiders are the Raiders are the favorite for him as far as the team to leave for, right? They're plus 250, 49ers plus 350, and then you have the Patriots and Dolphins at 7.5-1. You have the Giants at 9-1, the Jets at 9-1, and then you have your long shots: Titans 12-1, Seahawks 18-1, Commanders 20-1. I'll tell you what, I see value in Miami. Give me 7.5-1 all day.
Didn't he say he doesn't want to live back in the Northeast in the cold? So maybe my New York Jets is stupid.
The Jets seems
Nashville's cold.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see him play Bill Belichick twice a year and have a really good defense. So we will see what happens there. All right, so we usually go right into our buy low, our buy low, sell high spots. Did I say that backwards?
No, you said it
buy
right.
Low, buy low, sell high spots. There are none this week, right? So coincidentally, what was it? It was
every team that won covered.
Every team that won and covered is now playing against teams that won and covered, and then the teams that didn't cover are playing against teams that didn't cover. So
Cincy, Buffalo,
Cincinnati and Buffalo, both teams didn't cover and looked pretty unimpressive, and now they're going up against each other. So technically speaking, there aren't any buy low spots when you look at it from a perspective of what they did last week versus going into this week. So I just thought that was interesting and wanted to bring it up. Let's go over the betting odds right now. I want to touch on this because there's, the Kansas City Chiefs are the favorite right now at plus 310 to win the Super Bowl. We have the Buffalo Bills at plus 350, the 49ers at plus 450, Eagles at plus 550, Bengals at 7-1, and then you have your long shot Jags and
Giants
and the Giants
Dallas
at I think 28 and 30-1, and then the Cowboys are at 9-1. Out of all of those right now, is there anything that you would buy on today just based on the numbers?
What I would immediately say is sell hardcore on Buffalo. The math is not right. That everyone's hyped on the narrative. There's no reason to bet Buffalo in that future. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Kansas City makes sense to me. They're going to have the easiest route. It makes sense. And they've already beat one of the two favorites out of the NFC in the Niners. So Kansas City has a little. I hate taking the number one favorite. I'm not saying do that. I'm just saying over Buffalo. And then, dude, I made a survey about this.
Mm-hmm.
Mathematically, there's no reason the Niners should have lower odds than Philly.
I was blown away when I saw that, and I didn't want to be a biased Eagles fan.
No, you're right.
But I'm looking at it, and like this Eagles team, I'm seeing at 5-1, 5.5-1, depending on the book, and then the Niners at 4-1. And I'm just thinking, like, even let's say worst case scenario, it's a pick 'em in Philly, which means the Niners are technically a better team on a neutral field. What am I missing? Like, it goes through Philly. And not to mention, they're more favored this week against the Giants.
I was going to say, you're jumping ahead. I'm saying
they're a 7.5 point favorite at home this week, and the Niners are now playing what looks to be a good Cowboys team after what happened this past week. So let's say the Eagles move on and the Niners move on. It's essentially a pick 'em, and maybe the Eagles are -2. It just depends what happens this week, obviously.
100%.
But I don't understand why the Niners are only 4-1, 4.5-1, and the Eagles
let me back you up. It's actually kind of funny. I've been staring at these four games so it actually starts off highest spread and gets all the way down to lowest. So KC Jacksonville Saturday first game has the highest, then second, and then it gets lower and lower. The Eagles are the second game, and then Buffalo, Cincy, and then us. So it gets like highest spread down to lowest.
Yeah.
Right off the bat, just to be in the NFC Championship game, Eagles have better odds to be there than the Niners, just by the money line odds.
Wow.
And then they'll be home. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
Yeah.
So there's three scenarios. One, they think the Niners will be favored in Philly. I actually don't think that will be the case. I think it will be -1, Philly -1, 1.5.
Yeah.
Two, they think the Niners have a better chance versus the AFC. Why? We got waxed by Kansas City.
Yeah.
And three, maybe the best narrative for anyone listening, the books are overly exposed on the Niners.
I think it's the third one.
Meaning there's no value there.
Yeah.
So you thus get value betting Philly. Trust me, I'm wearing my grandpa's jacket. I got everything. It hurts me to say that.
Yeah. No, I saw. I forget who tweeted it, but I saw that the books are like the 49ers winning the Super Bowl. The books are super.
They're exposed.
So I'm holding an Eagles ticket, but I don't think there are many other people out there. And even me, I'm like, damn, I put next to nothing on it. I should have bet had more. But again, every bettor thinks that way when it's going well. So we will see what happens. But it sounds like the consensus here is the Bills have no value, the Niners have no value based on the current odds. If you want to take a long shot flyer on the Jags, maybe go for it. I mean, at those odds, no one expected the Bengals to be in last year. It. But again, we'll see how this plays out. So
if I'm a Chiefs fan, I'm very happy that no one's talking about us. They're just kind of there with a nice path right there. They're healthy. They haven't been challenged in a while. Their defense is clicking. I hate it.
I think I agree with you on them Bills. I think the Bills is the worst bet you can make right now at plus 300 or plus 350 because think about what they have to do. They literally have to beat this Bengals team who's really good. And even if they get through that, they got to beat the Chiefs. And then they got to beat a powerhouse in the NFC, whether it's the Eagles or the 49ers.
And both match up well versus those Bills.
Yeah, so there's no value there. But all right, give me your biggest reaction to what happened last week.
I'm sorry, I got to give you two.
All right.
One, Baltimore should have beat Cincy.
Yeah.
Just flat out raw math. That stupid play. You got Dobbins. Why is he not running? I don't know what we learned there. It wasn't 4th and 1. You don't need to reach like that. Baltimore, without their quarterback, should have beaten Cincinnati. That's very telling to me. That puts a lot of narratives like what's going on here. Is Lamar? Lamar's still a good player. I've been hyping Lamar up all year. To me, that lowered Lamar's value. As crazy as that sounds, that quarterback didn't lose in that game. Other stuff did. But two, Miami in its current form, on paper, should have been worse than Tampa Bay. They should have been the worst team in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And Buffalo almost handed that game on a platter.
Yeah, they struggled.
These are two teams that are lucky as hell to survive. So we're not going to learn a lot this week. Do me a favor. Hold on to that for the next game.
Yep.
You're going to get value most likely on Kansas City.
Agreed. The biggest thing, my biggest reaction to last week is the Dallas Cowboys. It's funny because this Cowboys team, when no one has expectations for them, right? They all think they're going to lose this game. It's the GOAT in Tampa. This Cowboys team traveling to Tampa Bay, and everyone's like, oh, there's no way they're going to beat Tom Brady. But now, look how high everyone is on them. And now they're traveling to a powerhouse in the 49ers. So last week, I specifically said, this Cowboys team is going to win by double digits at Tampa, but look out for them to now choke in that second round because I'm telling you, now that the expectations are on them, it's like what Stephen A. Smith always says. They're an accident waiting to happen. And now that they're going into San Fran and the whole public is like riding this
back
team,
on them.
I'm hearing everybody talk about taking them +4. I'm like, you're willing to back this team +4 against a really good 49ers team, but you weren't willing to take them -2.5 against an 8-9 team.
Exactly.
On the road. So now it's like, now I see so much value on San Francisco. I'm going to keep an eye on how this line moves, but it's probably going to be a 2-unit play for me this week, I think. And then the other thing to really think about, what's the kicker's name? I'm blanking. Brett Maher. Brett Maher, right? How can you back this Cowboys team +4
He's shook.
When
he's
you don't know if he's going to make important field goals throughout this game? This 49ers team is good defensively. I know they have some holes in their secondary, but every point's going to matter in that game when you have that Cowboys team +4. To me, this is a no-brainer on the San Fran team, and we'll get into that a little bit here shortly. But
let me elaborate on that. When we're hot, we're bragging. Yeah. When we're down, we're honest. The only loss I picked on teams was Minnesota. I wanted Minnesota. I genuinely thought they'd win. I was wrong. I wanted them to win because I wanted Minnesota to come to San Francisco. I wanted Dallas to go to Philly.
Yeah.
I didn't get the team I wanted. Then I was cheering for Tampa Bay, even though I bet the hell out of Dallas. I was cheering for Tampa Bay because the Niners just owned Tampa Bay 3-4 weeks ago. But I'm telling you right now, this line is low because of what you just said. How can you all write off Dallas against This team in Tampa has been piss poor since week 2.
They
have been nothing.
It's just funny what the narratives do because it's like the regular season doesn't even matter.
Dude, I got laughed at when I said my line, Gino's line, is Dallas minus 5.5.
Yeah.
Dude, my line cashed on every accord. Yeah. They owned every ounce of that game. Tampa Bay wasn't a good team. They just were not. And to Maddie's point, the public narrative is what I fade the most. That's what I love the most about this game.
Yeah.
People, it's fresh in their minds what Dallas did to the GOAT.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't the same GOAT, and that wasn't the same Tampa that won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, no, 100%. All right, let's dive into our Bet Openly segment of the week. Give me right now a custom bet. I can already guess what it's going to be. But if you actually, I'll just hand the mic over to you because I already know what it's going to be, but I don't want to spoil it. But give me something right now, your boldest prediction of the week, and back it up with real dollars on Bet Openly. Let's hear it.
I will, and I'm being a dork on Twitter because I just started tweeting in September and it's growing quickly. I told everyone, should I give out Dallas plus 4.5, 5.5, 6, or 6.5? And should I go 1K, 5K, 10K, 20K? Right now, and out plus 100 odds. Yeah. So I'm gifting 2 points like that. Valuable points. Crossing 4.5. It looks like no one cares about my money. Everyone's saying Dallas plus 6.5 for 20 racks. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to gift everyone out there. It's what I made this last weekend, eating everyone up on Dallas minus 5.5. So I'm pretty sure you're going to be able to get Dallas plus 6.5 plus 100 at even money. I won't put the 20K bet out there because we have too many sharp bettors. One dude would just punk me, arbitrage it, and go off, which would be smart. So anyone that wants to tweet at me, create your bet, and I'll fill it, and I'll literally tally it out.
Create Cowboys plus 6.5 at plus 100 odds.
Yeah, you can't make selfish bets. So what they're gonna do is tweet at me, hey, I want $100 on Dallas plus 6.5.
Yeah,
I'm gonna make $100 bet and send it to them.
Okay.
So it's a good question.
So to be clear, you're gonna tweet at Gino Bet Openly on Twitter, right? And you're going to say, hey, Gino, I want the Cowboys plus 6.5 for X amount of dollars, right? And this is even money since it's peer-to-peer.
Plus 100.
Gino's going to then tweet back at you. He's going to put the bet in himself. He's going to tweet back at you the link, and then you can take that. So you're going to get 2.5 points of free value, and you're going to get it at better odds than a book.
Plus
not
100.
Minus 110. It's going to be plus 100. So
and not even that. The plus 6.5 is probably minus 140.
Yeah, I like it. All right, I'm going to tell you my Bet Openly custom bet of the week. You already know what it is. We're going to Philadelphia Eagles. I'm not going to mess with the point spread, though, because I personally like the Giants with the points here. But there are a lot of people talking about the Giants winning this game outright. So right now in Bet Openly, the Giants are plus 318. Let me check what that is on a book. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to give you, if you're a Giants money line bettor, I'm going to give you way better odds than you would get on any sports book. Do you have that number pulled up?
Right now with books it's 270. You're going to give what, plus 320, something like that?
It's plus 320 on Bet Openly. I'm going to give it at plus 350.
Attaboy.
Because my Eagles are not losing this game. So, again, same concept as Gino. You got to tweet me on Twitter at Matty Betts. Say, Matty Betts, I want the Giants plus 350 for X amount. I will then tweet back a link at you. But I'm going to back my Eagles on the money line here. Again,
you might like me on this.
I'm not messing with that point spread. Everything about it, though, the fact that it's 7.5 tells me the Eagles are going to cover. But this Giants team, I love their coaching, and it's a division game, so I'm not messing with it. But my Eagles are not going to lose at home, so I will give you that money line.
I think what you'll like, hopefully, here.
Yeah.
I actually see this New York Philly game going how the Niners Seattle did. I think New York Giants.
Say that again.
I think this New York Giants Philly game goes how the Niners Seattle did. I think the Giants look good. They scare you early on. I think the wheels fall off. I actually like Philly minus 7.5.
Yeah, I like it.
But there's a lot of guys out there that don't, and we're gifting you all arbitrage.
100%.
Gifting.
All right, let's get in. We're going to now go into the primetime games. Make sure, guys, if you haven't already, betopenly.com, make an account today. If you're watching this on a Tuesday or Wednesday, Thursday, it takes 24 hours to get your account verified. So make sure you sign up and create an account so that way you can get the best lines and odds for the divisional round this weekend. So let's dive into the first game. Saturday. It's a Saturday night, right? Saturday afternoon game.
Saturday, 4:30.
We have a 4:30 Eastern game. The Jacksonville Jags are traveling to Kansas City The spread is at 8.5, over under 53. What are you leaning on in this game?
So my knee jerk is Kansas City minus 8.5. I think their defense is pretty impressive. I think their defense is substantially better than the Chargers defense. Mm-hmm. You know what the best part to me about gambling Twitter?
Yeah.
There were two narratives after that game. Everyone that bet the Chargers said I should have won my bet because they were up so much.
Yeah.
Everyone that bet the Jags said that shows you how much better the Jags were, that they were able. So funny. So I hate to. We're here to have a good time, but dude, gambler's bias is so real.
It's
Every
absurd.
Chargers bettor was like, I should have cashed. I was up 27, which mathematically you should. And then every Jacksonville bettor is like, dude, 5 turnover differential, still you couldn't win. That's how much better the Jags were.
Yeah.
I say all that because I do believe this Chiefs team is quietly under the radar, playing really good football, playing really good defense. I think the Jags are going to struggle to score. This is one that I'm contradicting myself as I talk. I think the Chiefs find a way to win and cover this spread. But I do think, this is going to sound crazy, the Jags are going to be neck and neck right there, that the Chiefs aren't covering this game until the end. I think the Jags are going to put up a substantial fight.
I could see them riding that momentum from the comeback and having a good first half.
They got nothing to lose.
I'm going to disagree with you on this game, and this is just an initial lean. This is definitely not an official pick. But Jacksonville's been quietly very good on the road. At Houston, they won on January 1st, they won 31-3. At the Jets, against a really good defense, they won 19-3. At Tennessee, they won 36-22. Those are their last three. Those are their last 3 games on the road.
The
Chargers they beat at home.
Yeah.
But I mean, and they're riding that momentum from last game. I just think it's too many points. We see what happens with this Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes led team when they're a big favorite. They very rarely cover. So
that's a good point.
I'm gonna take the points in this game as an official lean. It's not an official pick yet, but I would, if I had to, gun to my head right now, I'll take the points in this game. I just have to. Any thoughts on the over/under?
I was going to say you might like, anytime someone likes the under, they should like the dog. I actually, my official play on this game is under 52.5.
Really?
Yeah, I believe this game ends about 30-20. And I think it's like a 23-20 with a backdoor 27-20 where Jags have the ball, turn it over. Just some nonsense.
I mean, the Jags, they shut them out in the second half?
Yeah, the difference with me and a lot of cappers, I don't skip any primetime games. I bet every playoff game. This is a team game where I actually would be skipping for multiple reasons. But gun to my head, I'm taking the under in this game. I'm taking the Chiefs. The only thing I could see happening is the Jags maybe stop at 17-20. And that's where their scoring stops, and then the Chiefs win by 27, put up to 27.
The Jags actually held them to 3 points in the second half last game. So we'll see if they can
That's impressive.
We'll see if they can carry that momentum both on offense and defense from the second half of last game in the Kansas City. But it'll be interesting to see if they get off to a hot start.
And the last thing I'll say, Trevor Lawrence is a good quarterback, young kid, a lot of nerves.
He's like Andrew Luck, bro.
I'm pretty sure what they're going to do, the Jags, are going to do everything in their power to establish the run, get the jitters settled. That's why I like the first half under, probably as my play of the day.
Yeah.
Because I think Jacksonville will do everything in their power to keep the ball in front of them for Kansas City and to run slow incrementals with Etienne and not make sure he does not dig them a hole like he did last time. So my top play on this is actually first half under.
Yeah, the logic definitely makes sense. All right, moving on. The game of the week.
I'm going to say the same thing. I'm going to say the same thing.
The New York Giants. That line opened at 8.5. It quickly went down to 7.5 as of today.
Meaningless point,
kind of.
But still.
Over under sitting at 48. What do you like in this game?
So, I'm buying Philly here. They're rested, and people have very short-term memories.
And Jalen is not even on the injury report this week.
He's not on the injury report. They're very rested. They did a lot of things without him. They worked out some things with. You know what's interesting is that the backup to the Giants challenged Philly a little, but it wasn't.
But Philly was like, and I sound biased here, but they wouldn't even run Jalen. Like
it wasn't their full playbook.
Jalen's shoulders banged up. They wanted to be cautious. They were like, hey, we just need to get this win.
That's all he needed.
That's all they cared about. But if you don't have Jalen as a run threat, he becomes I don't want to say average quarterback, but like when you remove that run threat and you're being too cautious with him, it just diminishes his ability, and you're not as explosive.
Yep. And just to be clear, people, I would never take two favorites on a prime time like this.
Yeah.
I don't think both cover like that. So my biggest bet in the last game was under first half, second under in game. Mm-hmm. I actually like the Eagles here to not let the Giants score. My number one play is actually holding the Giants to substantially less than their team total. I think the New York Giants are going to lose this game on offense. I think they're not going to put up a lot of points. Philly's going to be able to chase down Daniel Jones. I love that he played with all that heart. I loved what he was able to do against Minnesota. Mm-hmm. I just think it's going to be a rude awakening when they're out, not in a dome, not as fast on Philly grass, freezing cold. I really like the Giants.
And you got them Philadelphia Eagles fans just going crazy. You know, it's interesting. I'm pulling up this Giants schedule. Outside of, like, when you look at all the Giants road games, outside of the two games they played against the Vikings, like, let's pull this up for a second. I mean, they really haven't scored. I don't think they've scored more than 20 points.
Bro, I just remember them in Seattle not scoring shit.
So here, let me read this off. So
please do.
If you take away, right, their last road game was, you know, outside of the Eagles, that doesn't matter, right? Backups. Yep. But at Minnesota, they lost 27-24, right? That just happened. But then at Washington, they only scored 20, right? At Dallas, they only scored 20. At Seattle, they only scored 13. At Jacksonville, they only scored 23. At Tennessee, they scored 20. So they haven't scored more than 23 on the road all year, you know? And again, outside of this, at Minnesota, they really haven't looked that explosive on the road. Now, it's tough for me, man, because I would have to lean under, I think, as of right now. I just think when you look at what both teams want to do, I think both teams want to run the ball and keep the other team's offense off the field. Like, I think Saquon had a very light workload last week, which is going to help the Giants a lot this week. I think he only had 12 carries.
I like Brady, too. He's from the Niners.
Yeah, and if there's one thing the Eagles' defense has struggled with the most this year, it hasn't been the secondary. It's been stopping the run at times. So I think that the Giants' game plan is to run the ball, keep Jalen and this explosive offense off the field. It's a division game. This team's played each other. This is now the third time this season. I would have to lean under. I think the spread is going to be super close. Like, I think it could really go either way based on, like, what happens in that fourth quarter.
And I know these two teams have nothing to do with each other, but something about what I've read about this game reminds me of the first half of Niners-Seattle.
Yeah.
I remember regretting my over in Niners-Seattle that first quarter. Mm-hmm. It looked like it was going to be like nothing, no points, back and forth war. And then it just became explosive. I actually think the Eagles find a way to contain these Giants. I really do. I think people are just, their recency bias is too much for them to fight. They just can't fight it.
I could see like 27-17. 27-17 or 27-20. Both go under, and both are very close to the Eagles or the Giants covering. Like, I think it could be that close. It could be a 7 to 10 point game is my prediction.
I love that 17.
27-17?
I just love,
I think 17 sounds, yeah.
I'm more, if I had to have one bet on this game,
yeah,
I'm more on the fact that the Giants team total is going under than anything
What
else.
is that team total?
If I had to guess, I would look at it like 21.5 probably.
Let me take a look, because I'm actually very interested in that. Because I just think they're going to, I do think they're going to have success running the ball. But the question is, will that translate to touchdowns in the red zone, or is it going to translate to 6-minute field goal drives?
Yeah.
Let's see what that team total is.
Yeah, it would probably fall in the 20 to 21 to 2 range, 21.5.
Team props.
I think I said that. That makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah.
And it will be that you'll be able to tell which number they're trying to scare you into. 20.5 means they want you on that over.
19.5.
There it is.
And here's the thing. Over 19.5 is minus 130.
There it is. So that's
they're baiting you. They're baiting you into taking that.
I'm under 19.5. That's
at
my
plus money, plus 110. Interesting.
Juice.
All right, let's move on. Yeah. Cincinnati Bengals, Sunday Night Football game. Cincinnati travels to the Buffalo Bills. 5-point spread I'm seeing now. Over under 48.5. What do you like in this game?
So we actually are getting more bets on Cincy. I see Cincy again. Not that he's wrong. It's just a different book.
I'm seeing 5 on DraftKings right now.
Yeah, and I'm seeing Cincy's plus 4.5, plus 105 on Bet Openly, and then Buffalo's minus 4.5, minus 105.
Yeah.
Oh man, this game's so hard to bet because I'm equally low on both these teams. I still can't shake the Cincy first half versus Tampa Bay. even though they came back and put it all to rest,
Yeah.
it was just so sloppy, and Tampa had to give them that game.
Yeah. I don't see how you can't take you have to take the 5 points and close your eyes in this game. But like you said, you're low on both these teams. But when you have Joe Burrow in the playoffs and you're getting 5 points on the road, and Buffalo just hasn't been able to cover against like Miami, and I don't see how you can't take the 5.
And let's not forget, I hate to say this, I think Cincy was beating Buffalo that game.
Yeah.
Mind you, it's the first quarter.
Yeah.
But they're up 7-3, and they have a first down or second down near the 40.
Yeah.
Again, a lot of football to play. But if I had to make an assumption, Cincy was going to battle them the whole way through. Yeah. 4.5 is a nice number.
Is it fair to say, and I know you might argue the 49ers are the best, but is it fair to say the Ravens maybe had the best defense in the playoffs?
So far?
I'm saying out of the teams that made the playoffs, the Ravens defense was clicking.
The Ravens defense is nasty.
Yeah, like brutal. Cincinnati only scored 17 on offense that game because they had the fumble return, right?
Yep.
But like I almost feel like you're getting some value on Cincy because the books and the public are looking at this like, oh, the Cincinnati team just didn't put up that many points on offense against Baltimore. But that's a division game against a very well-coached team in the playoffs and a very good defense. I almost feel like they're going to have a lot more success offensively in Buffalo than they did at home against the Baltimore Ravens. So I just think there's value on the 5 points here. I don't see how you could bet against this Bengals team getting 5 points. But it is scary that it's 5 and not 3.5.
Yeah, and honestly, I'm not chirping. I haven't been chirping the Niners defense for a while.
Yeah.
Since the Raider game, we have holes.
Yeah.
Our front four, best in football, no question.
Right.
Thank God, because they relieve our secondary.
Yeah.
Our secondary is open and exposed to big plays. We got to do something about it.
I got to ask you this, and we're going to go off topic here. But assuming the 49ers beat the Cowboys and the Eagles beat the Giants, what do you make that total in Philly?
A little lower, like a 44.5.
I'm telling you right now, I would hammer the over.
Really?
Yes, because the way I see it is both teams can expose each other's secondary. I really like the over. I don't know what that number is going to be, but I just think that Jalen can expose the 49ers secondary, and I think the 49ers can have really explosive runs. Like, I don't know what that total is going to be. Maybe it'll be 46. I don't know.
No, it's just a game of minimum mistakes.
Yeah. All right. So not official picks, but official leans on the Bengals-Bills game. I'm going Bengals +5. I hate that total. 48.5. Did you give a pick there?
I didn't yet. Again, this is one that I'm kind of forcing.
I would have to.
I'm going under.
Yeah.
I'm going under just because even though the Ravens defense looked good, these are two powerhouse offenses in the public eye. And honestly, I've been very unimpressed with both of them. That I just don't see them where they were last year at this time.
Yeah.
I see both of them as a tier down.
Yeah.
I'm worried about the Bengals O-line. I'm worried about the Bengals O-line.
I'll tell you right now, if Von Miller was playing for Buffalo, he would create havoc for Cincinnati. I do want to keep an eye on that injury report. As of right now, I'm leaning Bengals +5, but that's the one. I'm glad you brought that point up because that's the one hesitation I have of like maybe the books know, like maybe that's why this line is 5 and not 3.5 is like the books know like, hey, this Bills team might get a lot of pressure on Joe Burrow early and often.
Yeah, I don't love it, but I'm now for the third game in a row, I'm going under.
We didn't even bring this up. This should have been on the beginning of the podcast, but every game went over so far.
Everyone?
Even the Ravens game went a half a point over. I know that because I had a 2-teamer, Ravens plus the points and the under.
I think the Dallas one fell on 45 and depending.
Oh, okay. The last game. You're right.
45.5.
So
you're right, but you're not wrong.
4-1 on overs?
Right.
Whatever it was.
Whatever that comes out to be. 5-1.
The Dallas game fell a half a point short, and then the Ravens game went half a point over.
And it only went under because of the dude missing 4 extra points.
100%, yeah. We're going to ask Trent about
or
that.
I guess not because they went for it instead of a field goal, which made up for the point. So you never know.
Yeah, no, for sure. All right, last game, the second most important game of the week. The Dallas Cowboys right now are a 4-point underdog at San Francisco. Over-under sitting at 46.5. I don't even have to ask what your lean is, but what's your lean here?
So this is the game of the week, in my opinion, just for a couple things.
Yeah.
Historically, we're restoring one of the best rivalries in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
The rings that Dallas and Niners have. I know you young bucks don't get it, but everyone my age and older remember when Dallas Niners was the equivalent to Pittsburgh New England Patriots.
Yep.
It was every year we joked that the NFC Championship was the Super Bowl because whichever one of us won went on to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So I love that this rivalry's back. I was in Dallas 1 year ago. I make this joke, and I hope it's not inappropriate.
Yeah.
My daughter was conceived the night of this game after I drank about 25 seltzers. I was shirtless at the game. Some of the nicest fans in the world. For any of you that don't know me, although I'm a lush and love talking shit, I'm also generous as hell. I was handing out drinks, ordering rows of people seltzers. They were like, dude, I hate you right now, but you're a decent homie.
Yeah.
I think this is great for football to have these two back.
It really is.
I love that we went into their home as a dog, and it was 3.5, and punched them in the mouth. They have a chance at an equal redemption.
Yeah.
Come into our home, we're the higher seed, and to punch us in the mouth. So my biggest bet on this game is the over. I think the entire narrative is going to be how great Dallas did against Tampa Bay, and that this Niners defense is number one in the most categories. And then we're going to have the Brock's just a rookie. This is going to be his biggest test.
Yeah.
X, Y, and Z.
I feel like we're past that narrative, though. I feel like
We're not past it.
You
I
don't
mean,
think
we
people-
are past it.
But I'm saying that you don't think the public thinks, like, after what Brock did last week?
I'm telling you, they don't.
Yeah.
It's not that. It's not that
it's true because
bettors
Dallas
don't,
played well
but
defensively, too, against Tom Brady. So
this will be the best defense he's faced since Tampa Bay at home.
yeah.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying there's still plenty of people telling me you're too high on a rookie quarterback. He's going to let you down.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, real bold call. He's not going to win the Super Bowl.
Right.
So I just think the value just out of the gate is the over, because I do think the Niners are going to be able to put up points.
Right.
And sadly, the balanced Dallas defense offense, is going to put up points.
Yeah.
And talking shit about Skip Bayless.
I'm seeing that number as low as 46 now.
Yeah,
That's not a bad number.
Sit tight.
I would definitely lean the over, too. I definitely like the logic behind it. On the point spread, I'm assuming you like the Niners. Right now, I don't understand how anybody could confidently bet the Dallas Cowboys to go into San Francisco and win or cover this game. There's just so many variables. I think the Niners are just better almost everywhere, right? And the biggest thing is, like, how can you comfortably take the 4 points when you don't know how Dallas's kicker is going to perform on the road here again, right? He missed 4 extra points. What happens, if you miss, even if you miss chip shots or 40 or 50-yard field goals against this 49ers team, you miss that field goal, and now you have a really explosive offense almost at midfield. That is a huge swing in this type of game. I don't know how you could confidently take the Cowboys +4 here. Again, I'm not biased. You can call me an Eagles fan because I rode the Cowboys hard last week. So I'm definitely not biased on this, but I'm going back to my roots here. And I'm fading the Cowboys hard here. I love San Francisco minus the 4 points for so many reasons. The kicker is kind of just puts it over the edge for me. It's like I already like San Fran -4, but the fact that if the kicker misses a couple pivotal kicks in this game and then you give the Cowboys the ball at the 40 or 50-yard line because of it, I think 1 or 2 big runs, and next thing you know, they're scoring. So I think that could be very costly for this Cowboys team as far as covering the spread.
And I'll give you 2 narratives. Y'all can buy whichever narrative you want. 1, hard stop. Skip Bayless came out and said he'd rather have Tony Pollard over CMC. Bro, come on.
Tony Pollard's a beast, but
I love Tony Pollard.
Ridiculous.
I actually love the player. I love his work ethic, and I love his style. But to say CMC was on a okay team doing okay things under a bad line, we have 12 wins in a row since he's come over. What do you want from this guy? And his stat sheet is stupid. He is printing money for anyone betting him on anything. Yards, catches, touchdowns, anytime touchdown, first touchdowns.
Yeah.
So giving you all both sides of the coin. Dallas defense versus top 16. I'm not talking about top 5, top 1 offenses. The number Anders on Twitter gave me this in my DM, so thanks to the homie for that. He showed me, with the exception of the Lions, their first game, the Lions before their win streak, so pretty crappy Lions, where they held them to 6, 20, 30, 40, 24, and 31, or 30-something. Dallas has been exposed, repeatedly giving up mid to high 20s to low 30s and a 40 against top 16. That just means you're the better half of offenses.
Yeah.
since we have gotten CMC, in my opinion, the only offense that you could argue is better than the Niners is Philly.
Yeah.
Hard stop. Brock Purdy
so
in
good.
one playoff game, I don't know if you saw this, now has as many touchdown passes as Jimmy Garoppolo in the playoffs.
And you have Debo out of the backfield.
Debo's
too.
back. We're gonna be running tries.
These little
misdirections.
Misdirections, and Debo coming out of the backfield, and then Christian McCaffrey, and then then you got to worry about play action, and then going deep. I mean, they're as explosive as it gets. Would you hate a 2-team parlay here with the Niners and the over?
No, of course not. You do whatever you want. And I'll also say, again, trying to throw some Cowboy fans some bones.
Yeah.
Your tight end, your receiver are going to cause some problems for my Niners secondary, especially if you're running both backs and catching balls out of the backfield, which Pollard can do.
Yeah.
You will cause us some pain, be able to get yards on us.
Yeah.
The key here, we actually give up yards.
Yeah.
We don't give up a lot of points. So I'm very curious to see what Dak does in the red zone.
Yeah.
That to me, Dak in the red zone is going to be a key factor of this game. The kicker, if he comes out, I'm just warning you. I'm going back to the Seattle game. Seattle hung with us. They made no mistakes the first half, and they were up. We made a bunch of mistakes. Mm-hmm. The second they made one mistake, we freaking wiped the field with them.
Yeah.
Dallas needs to come out and play a perfect game. If they make one mistake, we are going to expose them and be up 14.
I'm telling you.
And I don't think we look back.
I can see it right now. It's a close game. Kicker misses a long field goal. Niners 2 plays later as a touchdown.
10-point swing.
I can just see that being a pivotal swing in the game. So we'll see how that plays out. All right, let's transition into our dog of the week. Before we bring Trent on, who's going to be coming on in just a few minutes, if you have to pick one dog, whether it's with the points or on the money line, out of all of these games in the divisional round, who are you backing and why?
It's not that sexy, but Cincy. I just think from what I saw, if you want to do a 1 unit on the Cincy money line and 1 unit on the plus 4.5, 5 to cover, it's the so you're not double exposed all on money line.
Yeah,
I get it. I think there is a coin flip chance Cincy wins this game. Maybe 40% chance with the ROIs there with plus 210.
Yeah,
I just think it makes the most sense. I do not love the 5. I'd rather have the money line just from an ROI perspective.
Yeah,
but again, the 5's nice considering Buffalo just beat Miami by 3.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you on the team. My dog of the week is Cincy, but I love the points in this game. I actually think we could see Josh Allen do what Patrick Mahomes did to him last year to the Cincy team. I think that Cincy, this could be a very close game, and then the Bills could kind of pull it out here at the end maybe. But Bengals are 100% live to win this game. I just don't see how you can't take 5 points in a game like this.
It's a lot of points.
Again, maybe I'll look stupid. Maybe Buffalo will just get after their offensive line. But to me, that's the only way this loses. I think is like if Buffalo just tears up at the Bengals offensive line, then that's the one way I think the Bengals might not cover. But I really like the 4 or 5 points here, whatever you can get it at.
And I think Mixon's gonna be able to run. I like Cincy money line here
for sure. All right, we're gonna take a quick break. When we get back here, we're bringing on Book It with Trent and
Big T, Corp T.
Big T coming on next. All right, welcome back to the show. We're going to introduce on now a special guest, a man that needs no introduction. Book It with Trent. Trent, what's good, bro?
How we doing, boys? Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Appreciate you coming on. We're living the dream out here in South Florida. I hear you're in Texas now. How's that?
It's been great. Yeah, we've been here like 6 months now, and it's been awesome so far. I went to TCU, as most people know, but pretty familiar with the area already, so it's been nice to go back to my roots.
Dude, it's got to be a big change up being from Vegas. I was actually telling Nick the other day, I was like, bro, I think I would kill myself if I lived in Vegas. Not because I don't like Vegas, like I love it, but it like brings all my demons out. Like if I was just in Vegas every day living there, oh my God.
Demons were definitely brought out. Let's just say that.
I want to dive straight in. The people want to know a lot about Big T, so we're gonna bug you with some personal questions, but we're gonna keep it high level. We're also gonna bug you for some plays. We got to see if the fade god lives on. Big, just tell me. How did you become the fade god? If you had to tell the story to a stranger.
For sure. I mean, Tanner was kind of, involved right in the start of it all, really. It was 2 World Series ago. I was able to somehow pick every World Series game wrong. It was Braves, Astros. and I started just making TikTok videos about it, and they were just really popping off. And it got to a point where everybody was simply waiting for my pick in the World Series or in these primetime NFL games. And it just was on a ridiculous streak of losing. And I really wasn't trying to pick the wrong side. Like, I promise I wasn't. It's harder to pick, or it's just as hard to pick winners as it is all losers. And it just happened that way. And it was really, getting to my head at first. But then I figured, how can I turn this into a positive? How can I embrace this? And so that's exactly what I did, just kind of embrace that title of being a fade god instead of dwelling over it. Obviously it sucked. I was losing, money with my bets, but ended up being a positive by able to turn it into something, that people look forward to seeing every day. And, that was my goal, was to just find a way to make it a positive and just be, accepting of that title. And, I was able to progress through it and have fun with it and make, interactive and engaging content with that. So it's been really fun. It's obviously not the title I would have wished to have started with in this industry, but, I feel like people are always looking to blame somebody else for their losses. So when I put out a play and it loses and everybody else had that same bet, everybody looks at me as it's my fault, as if my influence has anything to do with what happens on the game.
Go. I just want to say, before we pass on, I want to use this to give Trent credit where it's due. You're a goddamn hard worker. You have great work ethic. You're creative as hell. I can't tell you how many people would have walked away or let the pressures and not turned it into a positive. So again, I'm not here to blow smoke up you. Most people would have stopped posting, would have hit in a hole. You actually said, well, hey, what can I do with this? So seriously, hats off to you. I can't tell you how many people would have walked away.
How many games did you lose in a row? Do you remember?
So it actually started, it literally started with prime time. I remember it was Bucks Cowboys, ironically, in the first game of the season, not this season, but last year's season. And I had this stupid skit, about throwing the rent on a bet. How are we going to pay it? Bucks -8, whatever. That was, kind of the skit that started all the rest of the skits to follow. And then on top of that came the World Series, where I lost, it went to 6 games. So I picked all 6 incorrectly. And, just a string of continuous losses from there. I have no idea how many exactly I lost in a row. But I do remember that I did lose a lot of games before that World Series. I picked 1 for 8 between the NL and ALCS leading up to that World Series. And then that World Series was kind of the cherry on top.
Dude, did it have anything to do with the Nerfies? Because I remember a couple years ago, I think that's how I discovered you, is seeing the video content and all the Nerfies.
Dude, the Nerfie, I was like Nerfie Jesus. I hit 14 in a row. And that's what the nickname was to start all of this, because I was literally so red hot with the Nerfies. And I remember I was on a plane to Hawaii. My Nerfie of the day was like a Marlins Diamondbacks Nerfie. And I wasn't able to, I didn't know I wasn't going to have Wi-Fi on this flight for 5 hours. And so I made a TikTok about the Nerfie. And this was before I was really big on TikTok. And then I land in Hawaii to find out that the Nerfie ended up selling. It was a 2-out, 2-strike home run with nobody on base. And I was in so much pain. And I go to TikTok and this video is blowing up. Oops, sorry. This video is blowing up. And it was brutal. But, that's actually where I started on TikTok, was with Nerfies. I love baseball, huge baseball guy. But yeah, that's where it started.
Bro, the Nerfies are just like the degenerate's dream. It's instant gratification. It's like you win or lose after the first inning. It's absolutely incredible. I think most people learned about what a Nerfie is through TikTok.
I think Big T taught everyone what the Nerfie is, and I'll give him credit where it's due. I believe in marketing. I think the name he came up with it. People didn't used to call it Nerfie and Yerfie. They would just say no score, yes score. Yeah. Maybe I'm a little older.
I got to give credit to the guys at Bleacher Report Betting. They were the ones that actually came up with it, and people claim that I think I came up with it when I know I didn't.
Fair enough.
I was already on the Nerfie train when they came up with that name, and they kind of started with it on social media first, but I really had no idea that they did. But yeah, no, it's definitely credit to them, but I definitely, was able to market it well and make people aware of it and want to start betting on it for sure.
So if I'm not mistaken, Bleacher Report is Tom from MySpace and Trent is from Facebook. Zuckerberg, if I'm understanding, and the NRFI train.
Yeah.
What I want to say too, I want to ask you rumors. I want you to put some rumors to rest. I have heard people say that you are paid by the books to give out losers. Please address that head on.
That is so ridiculous. I mean, do people really think I sit in a corp room and like, okay, today you're going to give out, Leafs money line and they're going to sell in the third period and give up 2 quick goals to blow the lead. Like, no, that doesn't happen. I don't have any conversation with any books or partners to give out losers. So anyone who thinks that is just stupid.
The reality is degenerate gamblers just always want something to complain about. If you're giving out losers on purpose, that means you know who the winner is. So it's impossible.
Exactly.
The logic is just beyond me. Again, it comes down to the root of it, which is like gamblers always want to complain about something and they always want to blame somebody else for their losses. Like,
without a doubt,
it's unbelievable. So
facts.
But
that's crazy.
Trent, tell us a little bit about Book It, because like when I first met you, I think it's been 2-3 years now. Book It was an app. It was in its ground stages, and now it's become what I think the biggest entertainment in all of sports betting. So would love to hear how,
by far the best community.
Yeah, I would love to hear how you went from, because I know you were in school when you started it, how you launched it, and then how you pivoted, and then where it's at today, essentially.
Yeah, we started as a mobile app, and I had a vision and a dream to create this community on an app that's similar to Twitter, Instagram, but directed and targeted just for sports bettors. Because going on Twitter and seeing anything really not gambling related is not something I want to do. When I went to the first thing I'm thinking about is what are the picks? What is everybody else on? What's the injury news? What are people talking about? What are the bets today? That's all I care about, right? And so there wasn't really a platform like that besides Twitter. So then we, broke ground on this app, but it wasn't really panning out to exactly how I envisioned it. And obviously there were, shit behind the scenes that was going on, that kind of halted the app, development. Mm-hmm. And I figured, I think we should pivot to more focusing on a brand, and something in sports betting that doesn't really exist besides Barstool. And I really wanted to be, the center of sports betting content, interaction, and engagement. And so in a real dream world, I would have started what I'm doing now and then made a mobile app,
right?
Which I definitely still have visions, later in the future for sure. But yeah, now we're essentially just a media platform in sports betting. We've got a cast of content creators and such underneath the Book It umbrella that, work for me and work for us, and with the goal of, making Book It an empire. So that's really what it is now. And yeah, I started it at TCU when I was a senior there. But the journey of, building a startup is one that no one would understand unless you actually do it yourself. Mm-hmm. And people think, oh, I have mommy and daddy's money, this, that, and the other. Like, this kid's just a degenerate gambler. Like, nobody knows. Nobody has any idea what I've gone through to get to this point.
Yeah.
Unless you really sit down with me and hear the entire story. There's been backstabbings. There's been, just so many things that have happened that you wouldn't even believe to get to this point. But as an entrepreneur, you got to have thick skin. And I know you both know, you're both entrepreneurs, what it takes to get, something off the ground, turn something from an idea to reality. And it's an absolute grind. So it's been an absolute grind for the last 2.5 years, but I wouldn't trade any of it for the world. It's been a great journey this far.
It's all about the journey at the end of the day. Because myself, absolutely. I always like looking at the finish line of things, and I always have to remind myself, like, it's about the journey and the process. So tell me a little bit, because we get all these questions all the time, like people that want to start out and like get into the space, make content, do all these things. What is your advice to them on what they should do? And also tell me a little bit, because I know personally, but I want the listeners to hear this. Tell me a little bit about your team and the roles they do to allow you to do what you're great at too.
Absolutely. So advice for anybody that's wanting or interested to get in the space of sports betting, really just do it. Like I wish someone would have told me to just get up and do it a lot sooner, especially when we started. it was 2019 when sports betting had just became legal, and we had a pretty early head start, which was lucky. But here we are 2.5 years later, and there's still not much in the space that has really separated itself for, in the industry. And so really the door is wide open for anybody to come in and, be a content creator, establish themselves as a presence in this industry. Mm-hmm. The door is wide open. And I always say this, but, we're still on the bottom of the first inning with this industry, and it's still so early. We have no idea what the next 10 years looks like. And in terms of content, there's never enough content to go around in this industry. So, some people would argue it's too saturated, this, that, and the other. I would disagree. Yeah. If you look around, there's a lot of corp shows. You got these books having shows now.
Right.
I don't necessarily think that that's the route that's going to be here 10 years from now. Those will still be around, and those are always going to happen. But I think there's still such an open window for, the creativity in this space. And that's why I think, I was able to pop off because of my creativity in sports betting. No one had, seen funny skits with bets before, right?
Yeah.
I was kind of the first to do that. So the door is wide open, and it's on really anybody to just get up and do it, you know? So if you have an idea, you have a dream, the time is now to do it, because it's still early. And there's really not enough content to go around in this game. So just encourage anybody to just, flip on the phone, make a video, and, just see where it takes you. Because I promise there's an audience itching for more content in this industry.
And then, you want to go? I was just going to say, so I'm going to roll it all the way back, because I'm a clout chaser. I want to latch on to the Big T's coattails. So the story I tell all the time about Big T is he called my cell phone. Didn't even know this kid prior to book it. So can you just give me, for me and for anyone listening, were you currently a senior? Were you pre-funded? Like, tell me when you contacted me, how you found me. I'm just curious, and then I have follow-up questions to that.
For sure. Yeah, Gino was like the first guy in the industry that I connected with. He had been telling me about Bet Openly, and no, this was way before I got funded. Like, I was going into my senior year of that summer. And I actually did get like a $20,000 investment from a family friend to get my feet off the ground, but that's where I was in this stage. And, but yeah, no, I forget how I came across or how we crossed paths, but, I just remember you reaching out to me, or we reached out to each other, and, we were bouncing ideas off each other, and we had a great conversation for like 2 hours. And it was awesome, but yeah, no, I definitely will always remember that Gino was the first, kind of, I guess, mentor, you might say, someone that's older than me, willing to give me advice, help me out, give me some direction. And I'll always remember that. It was awesome.
Was that before TikTok?
Way prior to TikTok.
Yeah, so where did you guys connect? Was it Twitter or Instagram?
How did we connect? Was it like Facebook, bro? I swear you.
Yeah, it was like
Gino wasn't even on Twitter then. So.
I didn't have Twitter or TikTok yet, so I don't know. And the reason I asked that, and again, I wanted to set this up, so I'm going to ride coattails. Big T, you always have a seat on the Bet Openly board. I can't afford you right now, so write out all of your advertisements. But I want to tell this to everyone that's listening. The kid's not lazy. I want you all to understand. He didn't trip and fall and make a funny video and then money flew at him. He worked and made, like, he defaulted to action. Yeah. So if I had to say something to anyone listening, he had an idea, and let's go all the way back. Anyone rolling their eyes and talking shit just because a family friend gave him money, that says a lot about the kid's character. Because I know a lot of you, if you asked, if you asked family friends for money, they would tell you to kick rocks because you're just going to buy a bag and smoke it all. So I just want to be honest that, one, it's not mommy and daddy's money. Someone willing to lend you money says a lot about your work ethic. Two, Trent consistently makes content. So what Trent and Matt are saying, because they're way better at content than me, is it's a full-time job. And so the reason I set all that up, because I want to lay out the land that it is the first inning. Do not feel that you missed the boat because Trent and Matt beat you to 100,000, 500,000 followers. You all are lucky, because TikTok didn't even exist when I was these kids' age. I had to do it all via email blasts and newsletters. So then my last question for T, you're now, in my humble opinion, the top of the game. Tell me the truth. If you make more money than you can spend, am I going to be seeing your face on ESPN, or are you going to have your own company? Just tell us, tell the kids where Trent's dream takes him. And there is no wrong answers here, honestly. Like, you might change your opinion in 6 months, but you've accomplished a lot. Tell me where you want to be.
I knew right away, like throughout my time as an intern at different companies like the NFL and the Cowboys and Fox Sports, I knew that I was not going to work for somebody else. I don't know what it was, but I always just never had a good relationship with those above me managing me. And I didn't like working for somebody else, which was a big reason why I started my own company. And I still, to this day, don't see me working for anybody else. So whether it's a new venture or, growing this empire to as big as it could possibly get for the rest of my life, I always envision me being an entrepreneur, working for myself, not having a boss. So what does the dream look like? I mean, I'm kind of living the dream right now, just hosting a show, betting on sports for a living, making funny videos. Mm-hmm. But, I think something similar to what Dave Portnoy has at Barstool essentially would be, the dream of what I expect my future to look like.
Yeah, I love it.
That opens the window.
Yeah, no, because even like I was saying earlier, you have an incredible team. I mean, I've gotten the pleasure to know guys like Nick and Dave and the people around you. Just touch on that if you have a minute. Just tell everybody, because I really am impressed by you. Like, you don't have an ego at all. You know that there's other people around you that are better than you at certain things, and that you are really good at making content and relatable content. So just walk us through how you because I know personally you even stepped down as CEO and said, hey, I want to put other people in place so I can do what I'm really good at. So just talk to us a little bit about that for the people that are listening.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if you would have told me 3 years ago, even that, or not even 5 years ago, that I would be the CEO of a startup, I would have said you're crazy, because I suck at math. I never took a business class, and I'm just not a numbers guy. I'm not really that book smart. I wasn't really successful with the books. So being a CEO was definitely not in my plans. I wanted to start this, and I kind of had to give myself the title of CEO from the beginning. But I got to a point where I was like, you know what? I'm starting to grow on social media. I can't be a CEO and book it with Trent at the same time. There's just too many moving parts. We have investors to talk to. We have money to raise. We have, profit to make, right? And I can't do that sweating out, Leafs money line and then streaming that and making videos about that, So
right. I
was like, it's time for me to get somebody better, put them in the chair, and allow me to do what I know I'm good at, and I know it's going to help this company. So I surrounded myself with people that are, smart, really intelligent, and really good at what they do. And so at first it was just me, Big Dave, who I met from TCU. He's a former football player, and he was really smart at TCU and a great football player. And he had to make a decision, whether or not to go play football or join this venture. And so sure enough, he ended up joining us. And then Nick Yale, who's our behind we met each other at a pitch competition at the Pro Bowl 2 years ago. And he loved the idea that I pitched and wanted to be a part of it. And so he left the company that he was there to pitch for to come join ours. So it was us three from the jump. And then throughout the last year and a half, we stumbled across, a couple other creators to go under the Book It umbrella, like Lauren Cowling, Krabs, who you've seen on Twitter for sure, Vaughn, who is currently a TCU student, but is incredibly smart at, understanding the books and how they work and how to make money doing it. And Mikey Overs as well, who's a TikTok influencer. So I've really surrounded myself with those that are good at what they do. And then we've added a couple creators along the journey to help, grow the brand exposure along the way.
And I want to add to this, because I don't want to give any of the people that cause drama in your life any clout. We won't say any names. I'm not even going to allude to any. But sincerely, I want to know, in your opinion, again, naming no names, if you look back, was the toxicity from you being a first-time founder, or was it just a toxic space and you underestimated just how vile some of these people are? And I'm not alluding to any individuals, I swear. I'm just asking, looking back, because I remember the kid that I met, you, and I'm complimenting you sincerely, the nicest guy that just wants to create a space for degens to talk about sweats. And then again, I'm getting secondhand, thirdhand grumblings, and I'm like, this isn't Trent. There's no way this is Trent. He's not some mastermind that's running this evil empire. So like sincerely, no names, and I mean that. I'm not trying to allude to anyone out there. When you look at it for someone not knowing, and just to squash all that permanently, how did it get like that? How did all this backstabbing, and again, we're not blaming anyone, but when you look back at what went wrong deep in the weeds of booking, like how would you explain it to a stranger over a beer? And again, I'm not trying to air out drama or reality TV here. I just want to hear from you, the founder, like how did it accidentally get to that? Because I know you didn't want that. And I know you didn't orchestrate that.
Yeah, I think I know exactly what you're referencing. And
no, but I really don't mean one person.
Yeah, it's a bunch of people.
I honestly, I deal with a lot of cappers that are vile and they're just not good people. And I always joke that Maddie and I are cleaning up the space you are. So I swear to you, this isn't alluding to like one person. I'm just asking, how did it become like this, I don't know, like gang war in there where it should have just been everyone happy because everyone's making more money and getting more views kind of thing. So I promise you, I'm trying to zoom out.
From what I learned working with cappers, right? I mean, the whole point of Book It was, or not the whole point, but an aspect of Book It was to make it easier for people who sell their picks. And I really don't have anything against it. I do, but I don't. You know, if you're really good and you're really sharp and you spend a lot of time and money digging into these games and providing value for other people, yeah, I think you should absolutely be able to sell that. But on the app at first, initially, a lot of the handicappers were getting butthurt over, who I paid more attention to,
makes sense,
who I gave more love to, and of course we had one instance where a guy came on that really nobody liked, and I didn't know anything about this hatred towards this guy. And all the cappers kind of turned on him and he felt like, attacked. Right. And then he made this video making up all this bullshit about, my intentions, which were completely false. And it just turned into this shit show. And then he was like, he has a bunch of followers on TikTok and he said like, if you go leave a 1-star review on the Book It app
so he went after your business.
I'll give you a,
X,
3 weeks of plays, which was so foul, dude. Like that's actually illegal.
It's below
it's below belt. Yeah, it was absolute bullshit. And he just made up all this shit, made me look really bad, made me feel like sick to my stomach. The fact that he incentivized people to go fucking take down and ruin my company that I've worked so hard for. Yeah. So really, I've just learned to distance myself from toxic individuals like that in the space, and there's a ton of them, sadly. Especially on Twitter, where now gambling Twitter is a very active beast. There's so many of them. So you really have to be careful with who you're dealing with in this industry. There's so many robots in this industry. I feel like 28 robots do the same damn thing. People think, oh, this is offering the free in the DM from them saying, oh, I used something in your Twitter mentions and now I'm down 2K and whatever. And it's like, how are you not smarter than that? So use your head a little bit when you're dealing with people in this space, for sure.
And I'm glad you said that because honestly, and I won't make this about us, this is all about you. The weirdest thing about Disciplined Gens to me is that we do charge money for something and it is indirectly picks. And I swear to all of you, it's Maddie and I trying to clean up this space because I can't tell you how many bad dudes I bought bad picks for decades. So I don't take that as an attack. I think for every one legitimate person that is actually selling real research and real edges, there's 99 slime bags. So again, and I really didn't mean to like make this about drama. I just know that the Trent I know is a good dude, and I want someone on the outside looking in to break into this industry. You're gonna have to shovel through some bad characters. I'm just telling you right now. They're everywhere, and they're a dime a dozen.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, there are so many, and it sucks. But that's just even those on the outside looking into the space, investors have dealt with, right? Like, there's a lot of sketchiness in this space, and I lived in Vegas. I literally saw it in person. So just be careful. But, you can't trust everybody in this game. Everybody has an intention and it's likely to make money. And again, nothing against selling picks. I think if you put in the work, the time, and the hours, and doing the analysis, right? I mean, a lot of people don't have the time to do that. So you should pay for that, and I have no problem with that at all. what I do have problems with is when I'm able to give somebody a platform, they start getting respect and followers, and they turn around,
I get
start
it.
charging their plays, and then become, some sort of paid capper and don't continue to give back to the community. That's really the only thing I have an issue with anyone who comes on my show or is in the booking community. And people understand that now. We've had a few instances of that, but no one really does that anymore. But, I understand you got to get your bag. Like, you don't want to spend all this time, helping out people, doing all this shit that you got to do to hit correct bets, right? You should be compensated for that. So I hate the bad stigma around selling picks, but I understand it because a lot of people are, scumbags. So you just have to be careful.
100%.
Yeah, at the end of the day, the way I look at the space is there's bad people in every space. Like, It's like Gino and I were talking about the cryptocurrency space and all these NFT projects. Like, there's going to be good people in the space that create NFTs that have legit utility and actually care about the people buying them in the community. And then there's going to be people that just try to make a quick buck. And I think that's the same concept in the sports betting space and really any industry. So, well, tell us a little bit about this to the 3 or 4 gamblers in the world that don't know about it. Tell us about the surgical stream and how you started that, because I love the brilliancy of it. Like, I think everything you've done, like, you embrace being the fade god, for example, when everyone else is just trying to look as sharp as possible. You've embraced the surgical stream, which is getting people giving you their picks versus everyone else just trying to give people picks. So tell us a little bit about, how you started the surgical stream and how it got so big.
Yeah, I mean, it really started when the whole fade god thing started, when I couldn't hit a bet, right? And I really liked live streaming. I started out live streaming some sweats I was sweating out during the NFL season last year. And weirdly, people started coming and requesting to come on my stream and give me plays. And I was like, okay, everyone's such a great gambler and I suck so much. And why don't you come and give me a play? Like, come give me a winner. Help me win because I'm tired of losing. And so I like jokingly brought up some people, but people really liked it. And then so I started doing it more and more. And then it became a staple in my day where at 11 o'clock I'd go on and I'd pull up people on my TikTok live and we'd, cook up a parlay for the day, the surgical. And that's how it started. And it got like so big on TikTok to where I wanted to do more with it, but TikTok was very limited with what you could do on live stream. So we moved it to Twitch. And really it's all about just being able to grow a community, give people a platform to help others with sports bets. And it's become a huge part of my everyday, work life. I do it every single work or weekday. And I love it so much. There's so many characters that come on consistently, so many new faces. And it's awesome to see a lot of the growth from some of the people who come on who don't even have Twitter before, but now they have 10,000 plus on Twitter just because of what they've been able to contribute to the community through my stream. And that's what it's all about. The booking community, really the nucleus of it is the surgical stream. That's kind of where we all meet up for the day, figure out what we're betting on, and then of course we're interacting, engaging all the rest of the day through Twitter and Discord and Instagram, TikTok. But the nucleus of this community is definitely the surgical stream.
Bro, speaking of Twitter, like, what happened to your Twitter?
Dude, I'm actually supposed to get it back this week.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, piece of advice. If you're on Twitter and TikTok and you're trying to grow your following on both, don't use a freaking copyrighted song and post it to Twitter.
That's what happened?
Oh, wow. Wait, so it's from one of the TikTok songs.
Yeah, it's specifically a Travis Scott song, which I used in like every single prime Thursday, Monday, Sunday night.
Yeah.
It was that song.
Oh my God. I thought
it's funny because most people probably think that like you did something like in the gambling space. Like
I
it's
thought
literally a copyrighted song.
Reason why, like, it's not even cool. It's like, oh, I used a copyrighted song. I didn't even like say any stupid shit or do anything bad.
That's
I
crazy.
just used a song.
My guess is boring. My guess was going to be he said this is free or this is a lock, and someone accused him of being a fraud, like that you were promising like the surgical six is going to slap.
No.
Wow.
That is even worse.
I'm surprised you don't get like a slap on the wrist for that. Like, how do they just delete your Twitter?
Not when you're the biggest Big T.
Yeah.
So there was 15 what do you call it? Charges or whatever. And so that's not good. 1 or 2, it's like, okay, yeah. 15 though, it's been tough. So I had to fill out all these counter suits or whatever. and I'm supposed to wait 10 business days and wait and see if they file a counter to my counter, and they didn't. And yesterday was the 10th day, so I'm still waiting to get it back. But I figured, there's no way I'm going to wake up Monday and have my Twitter back. There's always some bullshit. So, but from what I've heard, my connections I've got at Twitter that are helping me, I should be getting it back this week, which I'll be so excited.
And I want to ask this because I think it adds to your brand and everything. You have your own lingo. You have a lot of phrases. Again, I'm not trying to make this about Gino, but when I was younger, we used to speak in pager code because our parents wouldn't know it. Where do you come up with this? Is this Big T drunk? Is it sober? Is it creative? Is it random? Tell me where, and Maddie might know some of them better than me, but tell me where some of these came from. Give some of the people listening the backstory, because I think kids that don't even know the backstory use your lingo.
Oh, for sure.
So give them a little glimpse into what they're saying and where it came from.
Yeah, I mean, off the top of my head, I'm having a hard time thinking about, but I'm sure you have a couple instances. But like, for example, surgical, right? I kind of just came up with that myself, crafting up a parlay, getting surgical in the weeds with it. That's kind of where that started. But I'm from California, and a lot of Californians, have pretty crazy lingo for whatever reason. But I don't know. That's just my friend group in high school, and we'd always have just stupid sayings for stupid shit.
Oh my God, mine was the same way.
To, put it into a twist of betting related stuff.
Bro, I did the same in high school. My friend group, like when I was like a freshman in high school when I was a freshman or sophomore in college or in high school, I used to hang out with all the seniors, all the gamblers, and I would invite, like we would have like 10, 15 people over to my house. In the middle of the night, like on a weekday night, we'd be playing cards. And we invented this game called Buckers. It's basically dead hands, Texas Hold'em style, right? So it'd be like 8 of us in a circle at my pool table. We'd be dealing the cards. Everyone put in like a predetermined amount of money before you start. So say everyone throws $50 in the middle of the table. You have to win 2 dead hands in a row to take the pot. And we had all these crazy like names and lingos, and it was just the most degenerate game ever. No skill whatsoever. We have this thing called the nail, right? We would literally worship. Like when people would be on their last $50, we would call it the nail. They're about to get nailed, lose their last 50, and then they would have to leave the house. Like all this crazy shit in high school. But,
that's so funny.
All right, let's talk about last week. Actually, one of the people. So on my Google Doc right here, someone on our staff wants me to ask you, because I don't even know what this is. What is the one chip challenge?
I'm literally doing it as soon as this podcast is over, sadly.
So what is it?
But this right here, apparently it is a Reaper pepper plus a scorpion pepper chip. So right here we have one little chip in this little bag.
Hell no.
And apparently it's awful. Yeah. So I had to do that in result of the Buccaneers not winning against the Cowboys. And I was so confident that they were going to win that I said if they didn't, I would eat a hot chip. And if they did win, then Mikey Overs was going to have to eat the hot chip.
Oh, shit.
And obviously the Cowboys clapped that ass, and I got to eat this chip.
Are you going to live stream that?
Yeah, we have a podcast that we do with me and Mikey Overs, and so it'll be on a podcast for sure.
Oh, sick. Dude, that's going to be crazy.
I got to ask
it's gonna
here.
Be awful. I've been dreading it all day.
I got to ask here. I'm going to word this lightly. Someone's basically asking, if you had to guess or estimate, how much money are you down gambling since you've blown up? They're not trying to get too deep in it. They're basically saying, since you started making money in the industry, how much have you handed back? And you can answer that however you want.
Before you answer that, I could have sworn I saw either on your TikTok or Twitter that you're up money on the year on the Surgical 6 parlays. Is that true?
The Surgical the Surgical Sunday 6 parlay. I hit 3 of them, and they're always plus 1,000, right? So in order to make profit with the Surgical 6 parlays, you have to hit at least 2, because I'm putting, let's say, I always track it just with the $100 bets.
Yeah.
If you don't hit all of them, you're down 18 units, right?
Yep, on the season.
Then we hit 1, so we were down 800, hit another, up 200, hit another, up 1,200. So we were up $1,200 with $100 bets on the Surgical 6 parlays.
Wow.
Which is, my goal. If I can hit 3 in an 18-week season,
yeah,
that's that's great, and people love riding it. If you rode every single one this year, you're up 1,200 and you'll take that,
That's crazy.
So,
and what's your strategy when you build this? Because I know you've from what I've seen, the majority is like favorite money lines, and then you throw like a dog or two in there, right?
Yeah, no, I always have like the Eagles are, in most of them for sure, or the Bills or the Chiefs, right? But the strategy is really taking like 3 teams that I think no shot they're losing, take like a -200, and then maybe a -120, and then like maybe a +110. That's the strategy, and just hoping it fucking hits. It's so hard to hit. These NFL games are so crazy.
Right.
But yeah, no, it's been an awesome season, and I love the surge.
I was gonna say you probably hit. My guess is you hit more of them late in the season because all the dogs were winning early in the season.
That's exactly. I went back to back. It was like week 13 and 14, and then I hit and I missed one, and then I hit another one in week 16.
Yeah. So I got to drill down. He does more than the surgical 6. Big T, how much money have you given back if you had to guess? Are you tracking it? Are you throwing money around like at a strip club?
It was definitely a lot easier to be able to track when I was living in Vegas, and not using, props on Prize Picks. And I was never really a prop guy. And then Prize Picks, came into my life, and I love props. But on the books, I did have one day where I hit my biggest lick ever, and it was for like 60K. So
wow.
I know that definitely.
Homie's betting bands now.
But no, it was a crazy day. I was so mad because this one parlay I nuked was losing on some fluke shit, and I went and nuked another one, and turns out extra innings bullshit. I end up hitting the first lay for like 20K, and I was so freaking hyped. And then that other one that I also cooked up also ended up hitting too, which was just like the one time I've ever had anything go my way. But to answer the question, I'd say I'm probably down, like, even with that huge day of winning, I'm probably down like 20K.
That's not too bad. You're living.
Right.
I mean, you're in the industry,
yeah.
So, and you're making money. So this is the last one.
Because we got to talk some games.
Yeah, these are interview questions. I think people will like this question a lot. Right. They know that you like TCU. They want to know by sport, what is your team that you're a fan of? So let's just go top down. NFL first, MLB second. We'll just go through the big 4, and if you want to go deeper than that, they want to know the teams that Trent cheers for without money on the line.
Yeah. So NFL is interesting because I grew up in Southern California where there was never a team, and I never bought into the Chargers being from San Diego. So I was always a fantasy / bettor, or really just fantasy growing up as a kid, and then obviously became into a bettor. But when the Rams first came to Los Angeles, they were the first move before the Chargers. I was like, what? I guess I'm a Rams fan now. So I did adopt the Rams, and even when they were pretty bad, and then obviously they win the Super Bowl, everyone thinks I'm a bandwagon, but I had no choice. Like, there was never a team for me to root for and support. And I loved fantasy football when I was like 12, 13, 14, 15. So I didn't have a team, and then the Rams came, and I adopted them. And it was awesome. I was at that Super Bowl game, and it was electric. So Rams, my football team. Baseball team, I'm from SoCal, grew up right next to, the Angel Stadium, and I love the Angels. Mike Trout, I've been watching him since, 2012 when he first started playing and came up. But yeah, even before that, I remember the 2002 World Series, but barely.
First, my Giants.
Against the Giants, sorry.
It's all good, brother. Funny story. I was at a girlfriend at the time's parents' 20th reunion, and I drank so much I puked on the center of the table.
That night?
That night. It was game 6.
Wow.
Game 6.
I was like 5 years old.
How much did you have on the game then?
Yeah. And then NBA, diehard OKC fan. Love the Thunder.
How'd that happen?
They became a team in 2008, and even before that, the Oklahoma City Hornets, when Hurricane Katrina hit, the Hornets were playing in OKC, and yeah, so they came there. And my grandpa is like a very high up chairman of the board of this American Fidelity in Oklahoma, which is like insurance company, and American Fidelity owns like 20% of the Thunder. So before that, they had the team New Orleans in Oklahoma, right? And then there was just such a huge fan base for a team that was there for a year, and Oklahoma was like, we needed an NBA team. So my grandpa was actually involved in, bringing in Oklahoma City Thunder into OKC. But I remember I went to the first freaking game ever for the Thunder, and my grandpa, hooked it up with courtside seats. Nasty. And it was actually it was Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, James Harden, like all the GOATs going up against the Wizards, and they were awful. They were awful at the time. I remember the final score was like 68-72. Which you don't see anymore ever these days. You see that in one half.
One quarter sometimes.
Yeah, literally with your Warriors especially. Oh. But I fell in love. with the game of basketball at that game, and I loved the Thunder, and I just took them under my wing, and they became my team forever. Obviously, it was very tragic to lose that big three, but those are years of 2010 to 2012. We were number 1 seed every single year. Went to the finals against LeBron that one year, won game 1, and I was insane. And then we got fucking swept the rest of the way. But Thunder basketball, there's nothing like it. They don't have too much else out there in Oklahoma. I've got so much family there, so that's why I have my love for the Thunder. And then on the ice, I grew up as a Ducks fan, living right next to Angel Stadium as well. But I love the Toronto Maple Leafs. I don't know why. I think it's just more of characters in the community. There's so many Canadians in this community that are just diehard Leafs fans. And I love embracing, the Canadian culture as well as being a new hockey fan. But I'm just rooting for the Leafs. They haven't fucking won shit in how many years? I don't know. So I love Austin Matthews too. He's goated.
Dude, the Canadians are some degens, bro. They love the game.
They really are.
Dude.
They love gambling. I mean, we do too, but
they love it.
They absolutely love it. So, all right, let's dive into some NFL. We got to talk picks. Let me ask you this. Are you even able to do a surgical 6 in a divisional round? Like, is there enough?
No, dude, I don't know what I'm going to do.
You can throw some over-unders in there.
I was going to say, can you throw, we could rhyme something with 4?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to have to get creative with it, but no, I'm excited. This is going to be an insane round. But yeah, no Surge 6, man.
Let's give him no leans. Let's ask him game by game.
All right. Just quick picks. I know it's early in the week. We're filming this on a Tuesday night. So Jags at Kansas City. The spread's 8.5 right now, over under 53. You have any lean in this game?
Dude, the Chiefs can't cover a fucking spread. And I trust me, I have Chiefs ML and like all the Surge 6s. Then sorry, I'm trying to pull up the odds here. But I'm smart enough to know the Chiefs probably ain't covering this game. And it's probably going to be a closer game than a lot of people expect. I'd like to watch where the line moves. What's the over at?
Right now it's at 50. I'm seeing 53, 52.5, some books.
Yeah. Dude, I was on the Chargers, bro, and I was in absolute shambles.
I was too, bro. I was too. Gino's ass was on the Jags.
Who was?
Gino was on the Jags.
The only game I lost this weekend was Minnesota.
Yeah.
I had every other winner.
Yeah.
Fuck the Vikings, bro. They're so fraud.
They were so fraudulent. It was crazy.
So fraudulent.
All right, so you're leaning the Jags. I was just telling Gino earlier on that show that I lean the Jags too. You're right, though. The Chiefs is a big favorite. They just seem like they never cover. I think, Gino, you were leaning the Chiefs, but it was a toss-up.
Yeah, I'm the only one on the Chiefs.
Yeah.
But I actually said what T said. I said, I think the game's close.
Yeah.
I just think it's one of those gut-wrenching Jags cover every minute except the last 3 minutes. I think they're up 3-7 and they win by double digits.
Yeah. All right, up next, the most important game of the week. The Philadelphia Eagles take on the Giants in Philly. 7.5 right now. I think it opened to 8.5. It's down to 7.5. Over under at 48. What you like in there?
Oh, it moved down to 7.
7.5. I don't think it's going under 7.5.
It might stick. It might stick.
I think it's going to stick at 7.5.
There's no way it goes to 6.5. There's no shot.
No. They'll sell you that.
I think the Eagles, in every position besides running back, are overpowering the Giants in this matchup. I think the Eagles are a wagon. I think that they cruise in this game. I think they cover 7.5.
That's what Gino's on, too.
Oh, we're on the same side there.
Yeah.
I think they cruise. They cruise. I think too many people are buying into what the Giants did against Minnesota, and we all know Minnesota's the worst 11-win team that I've ever seen.
I was telling Gino, the Giants haven't put up more than 20 on every road game this year except the Vikings. And then they had one game early in the season. I think they had 23. But they haven't been that explosive on offense on the road all season. And I know them Philly fans are going to be like in Philly this weekend.
Oh, my God, dude, that game's going to be insane.
Yeah, and it's destiny that it's Eagles-Niners, I'm telling you.
We're gonna have to box.
Yeah.
And Matty probably has 50 pounds on me.
I'm starting to lean on the Eagles on the spread too. I think the number's right on though. I really do. I think it's a good spread. I don't think there's much value on either side. So, do you like the over or under?
What's the number?
48.
I kind of like the over. I feel like it's a 31 to I can't do quick maths. 31-17. Is that over?
48.
That's right on.
That's right on the nose.
Yeah.
No way.
Under by half a point.
Dude, it's so funny you said 17 because we were just saying earlier we think the Giants are going to score 17.
Look at Big T being all sharp and shit. The team total under is 19.
19 and a half, but the over is like plus 130. Like it's just baiting you. Or
wow.
Minus 130. Minus 130 on that over. So we'll see what happens. Should be a good game. All
Dude,
right.
I had the over in the Cowboys game, bro. 4 missed extra points.
Oh my God,
30.
I saw that. Dude, we're gonna touch on that game here soon because one of the exact reasons I like the 49ers in that game is like let's just go right into that game right now and then we'll come back to the Bengals game. So the Cowboys right now are I'm seeing 4 points, 4-point underdog at San Francisco, over under 46.5. What are you leaning on here after what they just did to your Bucks?
This is going to be a unbelievable game. I just think that Niners defense is too good. I do.
Are you worried about the secondary at all, or you think the pressure would just be too much, like the front four?
I think the pressure is going to be too much. The 49ers have been here. They're a team of experience. Their coaching staff just always finds a way to figure it out and pull out a win.
Mm-hmm.
And, I feel like everybody and their moms is going to be on the Cowboys, bro.
They are, dude. It's art. The money's already at like 68%. And it doesn't even feel like sharp money.
No way.
Yeah, it doesn't even feel like sharp money because it's the number of tickets and the money is so close that it just doesn't feel like someone came in and backed up a dump truck. Do you have any leans on that 46.5 in that Cowboys-Niners game?
I lean under in that. I feel like that's a ground and pound type of game.
That's one of my biggest picks.
The under or the over?
Oh, you said under?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, respect.
You like the over?
Over?
I'll just tell you the story. I think the narrative all week is going to be the 1 and 2 defense are playing each other. If you told me the Niners game ends 23-20, I'd be like, yeah, that's a great hard-fought game. I just think we're getting a little value on people smarter than me. Because I think we're going to constantly hear about Bosa, Parsons, Bosa, Purdy being a rookie, Dak not being a playoff QB. So, Matt, thanks for correcting me. I like the over, not because I mathematically scoped it out, just because I think the whole world is going to be like, these two teams are going to have a dog fight. It's going to end 23-20.
Yeah.
It's just a narrative bet.
It just comes down to if Dak can air it out.
And Maher missing 4 extra points. I think Homeboy's going to be shook. They're going to be forced to go or punt on scenarios you usually could kick because they don't want to give us the ball. I really think that's just such a...
No, yeah.
It's
I was
tough.
telling Gino, I was like, how can you confidently take the Cowboys this week +4 when their kicker could literally screw you so many times in that game? One missed kick and the 49ers 2 plays later could be in the end zone from it. Like he misses a 45-yard field goal. The Niners could do one handoff to McCaffrey and then a TD to Debo. Like it could literally be a 10-point swing in a minute. I just think everyone is so high on the Cowboys now. I told Gino on the pod last week, I was like, the Cowboys are going to beat the Bucks, but then they're going to choke in the second round.
Big T, every survey I ran had Tampa Bay money line, Tampa Bay points. Everyone was like, this Cowboy ain't shit team last week. And now all of a sudden, one impressive win, they're like
a 180.
Back it up. So that's where we fall.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Give them one more.
All right, last game is the Bills game. So Bengals +5 at Buffalo, over under 48.5.
This is going to be a fucking shootout. I think this game soars. I mean, that's probably what everybody thinks, though, bro. Like, you don't think the books have adjusted to that?
Of course, it's 48.5.
Feels like the total should be like 51.
I know.
Why is the spread 5? That's such a weird.
I was
Weird-
telling Gino
weird number.
earlier, I'm convinced the spread's 5 because I think it should be like 3.5, but I think it's 5 because I think the books just think that the Bills are going to get a lot of pressure on just attack that offensive line that's banged up for the Bengals and hasn't looked that great.
Destiny.
But they
Everyone
don't have
thinks
Von Miller, and
Bills are destiny.
I just like the 5 points. Like I'm willing to take 5 points and close my eyes in this game.
You got to pick
You're
one.
willing
Team.
to take the Bills -5? Is
No,
that what you're
I'm
he
willing
wa-
to take
he
the 5
wants Cincy.
points. I like Cincy with the 5.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a close game. I think Bengals end up covering,
Yeah.
but Bills win this one.
Okay, now we got all those from you. Now I got to ask, Big T, flash forward to the Super Bowl. Who's facing who and who's winning it all? We're only gonna mash up and get you clips that make you look smart. So don't worry.
I think the Chiefs make it to the Super Bowl, and they're going to be playing against. I'm trying to envision. I mean, I really think the Eagles make it, bro.
Actually, I don't know. Do I want Trent
That's
to say
okay.
that?
It's okay.
How do I not make it Chiefs Eagles?
You can.
It'd be great. It'd be a great game.
And who wins that game?
Oh my God, I gotta go Chiefs, bro.
Yeah. I'm
do.
riding a future ticket on the Eagles, right? 20-1.
I know you're riding a freaking futures ticket on Hurts MVP.
It's dead,
dude.
though.
Was a
That one's dead.
Crazy ass call.
Yeah, that's dead, bro. I'm so upset about
Is
that
it
one.
dead?
That's lame.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think it's dead based on what the current odds are. The injury just screwed
What
it.
are they?
Yeah, I think he
went from favorite to like plus 10,
plus
plus 1,000, I
700,
think,
plus
or something.
1,000. Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
Like 3 weeks ago, he was the favorite.
yeah.
He had it
four-
all.
Oh, no, it's plus 600. Goddamn.
Yeah. No, I think it's Patrick Mahomes at this point. There's
Yeah.
no way.
Dude, I mean, I remember in this summer, I'm with my friend and we saw your TikTok and I'm like, that's a fucking donation, dude. What are you doing?
I think I said the same thing.
That's my friend. What is he doing? That's a donation.
Oh yeah.
I think I said the same thing.
Yeah.
And Maddie believes.
that was like our first podcast episode. I think
was.
I gave it out.
It was.
I just saw like crazy value on it just because when I saw when AJ Brown was coming to the Eagles, I was just like, okay, because like when you can make Devontae Smith your number 2, that's when you have something, you know. So that was the biggest reason I liked it. But it's just funny because then everyone makes the argument that like, oh, there's too much around him now, so he doesn't deserve it. I hate that argument. It's just crazy.
And Big T, getting away from picks real quick. Sorry to interrogate you, but the people want to know. Give people a day in the life of Trent. Like, tell me, you wake up. What do you like? Give me the 40-hour, 80-hour work week. I know you work more than 40 hours. Just tell me. People like the questions I got on Twitter are ask him what he does, ask him what he likes about what he does, ask him what he hates about what he does. So these are kids that honestly respect. They look up to you and they just want to know. So if you could just take a minute and just give a little bit about the 8-hour, 10-hour day or the 40-hour week or the 60-hour week and just break that down and then tell people what you like and hate about it. Like what's your favorite part and least favorite part of your job?
Yeah, so really my day consists of like waking up, going to work out, coming back, prepping for the surgical stream that I'm about to do, and then I end up streaming for about 3 hours on the surgical stream on Twitch. And then after that, you know, I'll go figure out what I'm going to do for dinner, cook some food. And then a big part of my live streaming now at night is where we do like night sweats, and we literally just hang out and watch the games, sweat it out with the community. And that's really how my day goes during the week, you know. So it's stream, break, stream, and I'm streaming for like probably 7-8 hours a day. And then in between, you know, finding ways to make funny content on TikTok or, you know, informative content even on TikTok. But really, what am I going to post for the day? So that's really what I do in between my streams / usually in the mornings as well. But I love it. I love, you know, being a influencer in this industry. You know, it's what I love to do. I love social media. I love sports, and I love betting, and just putting them all together to do what I love every day. It's awesome. So I love doing it, you know, and that's kind of what my day looks like, really. What I don't like, you know, is obviously not hitting bets, you know, when shit's not going through the net. Not fun, certainly. But, you know, usually we usually figure out, you know, some W's along the way. But yeah, no, I love what I do. It's awesome. And everybody around me, it's been great.
And I want to ask one more question. I'm trying to word this lightly. They're asking, what's it like to deal with the books? I don't know if do you count Prize Picks as a book, or what's it like to deal with the companies in the industry? They're just trying to get a glimpse into your day-to-day. Like, do they compensate you base off signups? Like, you don't have to disclose anything you don't want, but just what's it like being in the business side of an industry that they have no idea about?
Yeah, a lot of these big names in betting really have no idea how to handle social media, and so they look to guys like us and me for exposure through content, right? A lot of these corp names really have no idea what us, the gens, want to be seeing as a consumer.
So true.
So I'm happy to be able to share my skills with that on what types of videos and content do us, the gens, want to see. And that's where I provide value, for brands like Prize Picks or whoever I'm partnered with. But yeah, no, and it's really people who think I'm compensated by giving out losers. You're an idiot. That's just not the case at all. There's no meeting about, let's take Embiid PRA tonight because it's not hitting, but let's tell everyone it will. Like, that's crazy. That's so stupid. But no, I mean, any of the negative connotation about us being partnered with sports books, we're just trying to do what we love and make it entertaining for you. And we got to be able to support ourselves somehow.
100%.
The bets don't be hitting. So how else do you expect us to continue living and doing what we want to do and make it fun for you and the consumer, So it's like, don't hate on your favorite influencer because they went corp, right? They got to put food on the table just like you do at your 9 to 5.
100%, dude.
I'm
glad you said it.
Yeah.
The last thing I'll ask, and then I'm going to hand it to Maddie. 2023, flashing forward. Just give us a preview of what you're most excited about. Like, are we going to be able to see Big T in every major stadium? Are we going to? I'll stop talking, but tell me what you're most excited about for 2023. Stuff that you have cooking behind the scenes. Just a glimpse for anyone that looks up to you.
We're launching a new Discord channel, which I'm really excited about, with some great integrated features in it.
Oh shit!
Because the one we have currently is really just a cesspool of 30,000 people.
Wild.
Really no mods, and it's kind of a shit show. And so we wanted to clean it up, make it similar to what the Book It app was, and be able to create an environment where you feel like you're hanging out with a group of friends that bet on sports every day. So I'm really excited about that. We have a new merch line. We're dropping more merch as well, so I'm super pumped about that as well. And of course, going to all these games that we all bet on. Doing a little tour. Did it last year. Had a bunch of fun meeting so many of our fans and interacting with them, and people love that. So definitely going to be on the road a lot as well. But I'm just really excited for all of it. And it's been awesome, and I can't wait for what's to come.
Are you coming to South Florida?
The NHL All-Star game is there, and I really want to come.
Where's that at?
I don't know. Where do the Panthers play?
We'll find out.
Find it right here.
What?
That's the closest team to us.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let us know the dates on that for sure. I'm
trying to send it out there.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Last thing we'll wrap up with. I want to do a 3-team parlay with each of us giving a leg. Most confident play of the division round, squad play. I'll let Gino go first.
Yeah, please.
One pick out of everything we talked about on the pod today.
First half under Jacksonville KC.
Oh, you're going to make this shit hard on me?
No,
because I'm going to whip it up right now. So hold on.
This is the first half. That's not that hard. You want my most confident.
How do I find that?
My most confident is KC Jacksonville first half under.
All right, let me see if I can.
Most books will let you parlay game in first half. That ain't crazy.
How to do it. Hold on.
You'll figure it out.
Yeah,
I mean, it'll be a 4.5, 5 to 1 if we're all doing 1 minus 1/10. The number, you're asking like what the number is?
I can't. No, I just can't find it on here.
Here, I can pull it up. We'll move on, but I'll give you guys you want the odds or you want the line?
No, because I want to actually just build the parlay.
I get it. I'll give you the line.
I found it. All right. Which game was it? Chiefs?
Chiefs Jacksonville.
All right, under 26.5.
Under 26.5 first half.
What you got, bro? What you got, Trent? Can you hear us?
Oh yeah, sorry. Wait. So your play was the first half under. What's yours, Matt?
I'm not taking my Eagles because everyone's gonna call me biased. I'm gonna take the 49ers to cover the spread.
Nice.
For the game. I love that play. That's probably gonna be my 2-unit play of the week.
Give me Give me the freaking over in the Bills-Bengals game.
Ooh.
I like it.
All right, let me
48.
I said 49ers are minus 3.5 right now on DraftKings.
Perfect.
Not bad. And the Bills,
I like that. That's
49.
A
Are you cool with 49?
Yeah.
All right, let's see what $100 pays. $100 pays 580. We have the under 26.5 first half Jags Chiefs, the 49ers minus 3.5 for the game, and the over of 49 Bengals Bills. $100 plays 580. That's the squad play.
Squad ride.
I love it.
Squad ride.
Oh man, thank you so much for coming on, bro.
Of course, boys. It was a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Talk soon, brother.
See you South Florida,
All right.
homie.
Yes, sir. We'll be seeing.
Later.